Hi guys, and welcome back to my franchise reviews, and today we're going to be looking at Wrong Turn 4, Bloody Beginnings.
Everybody's a suspect!
Coming to get you, Bobber.
Wolfman's got Nards!
Wrong Turn 4, Bloody Beginnings is a 2011 horror movie directed by Declan O'Brien, and it stars Tara Vanessa, Samantha Kendrick and Victor Zink Jr. We're at the fourth movie in the franchise already guys, but this one's the most unique so far because this is a prequel. A group of college students get lost in a storm during their snowmobile trip and take shelter in an abandoned sanatorium, which, unbeknown to them, is home to 3 deformed cannibals. The movie starts in 1974 at Greenville Sanitarium, or Sanatorium, and this is where they house all the inbred cannibals, and they're doing tests on them, they're just trying to keep them safe, and we get a little bit of backstory behind why they are the way they are. We also find out that Three Finger, who's only 8 years old at this time, he ate his own fingers, and that's why he has 3 fingers on one hand. Once again, they've got some great use of practical effects. There are some CGI in this one, but not as much as the previous movie. They go back to basics and the practical effects are great. The movie then fast forwards to 2003, which was really interesting because the first movie was set in 2003. I mentioned in my movie review for Wrong Turn 3 that in each of the Wrong Turn movies they changed the setting and the storyline completely, and that's what I liked about the franchise. This one is no exception. This time we've got a prequel, so it's a different timeline, and it's set in the snow in an abandoned sanatorium, which is perfect. What is the difference between a sanatorium and a sanitarium?
Isn't that where crazy people are locked up?
No, it's a sanitarium. A sanatorium's a hospital that isolates sick people from the rest of the population.
Ah, okay. There were some nice shots throughout the movie, and some of the best shots what happened before the group of skiers find out there's cannibals. Wrong Turn 4 also has probably the scariest hillbilly so far, and it looks a little bit like Leatherface. It wouldn't be the Wrong Turn franchise without some cheesy lines.
Please, Sarah, please! We can't go back in there! No! We have to go to this office!
For a cheap direct-to-video movie, I found myself disturbed by this scene, making a guy watch himself being eaten. It was quite clever but disturbing. This was a big cast, a lot bigger than the previous cast that we had, and I think that might have been a negative for me because I didn't get the chance to know any of these characters. In fact, there were some characters that popped up during the movie that I thought, were you at the beginning? There was just that many, and I think that I didn't get to know their names and I didn't get behind any of them, so it made me think that whenever any of them died, I didn't really care. I really like the settings for these films, and I think that the setting for part 4 was really strong. It reminds me of these late 80s horror movies, so I had a nostalgic feeling. Even if the movies turned out bad, I still had that nostalgic feeling just because of the settings. Something that made this even creepier was they did film this in a real abandoned sanatorium. I know that because this was a prequel, I was scared that they were going to tell us a lot of backstory. They didn't give us a lot of backstory with Three Finger or any of the other hillbillies, and it didn't tell us too much that it destroyed or affected anything that happened in the first movie. But something that I prefer in all of my movies, especially Halloween movies, is the less we know the better. My biggest issue with this film was the fact that it was a prequel. Now I will explain that a little bit better. Throughout this film we had no nods to what we saw in the first movie. I thought it would have been more effective if we saw maybe some vehicles that we saw in the first movie that tied them together a little bit. We didn't see any of that. We seen the pickup truck at the end of this film that didn't really mean anything. Now the biggest issue that I had with having it a prequel was there was no reason behind the execution of having this as a prequel. Three Finger didn't die at the end of Wrong Turn 3, and even if he did die, he probably would have come back to life anyway. So if they had this movie set in 2011, set it in present day, it wouldn't have made a difference. I understand that they wanted to change it up a bit and give us a prequel that maybe people would watch, but I just think it was poorly executed and it could have been a lot better. So what do you think of Wrong Turn 4 guys? Did you think it was a good idea to go back the way and do a prequel? And do you think that the maker of this prequel done anything for the storyline? As always guys, thanks a lot for watching, thanks for subscribing, I'll see you soon, bye bye.